Don't be a victim. How your excuses are completely screwing you up on your journey. Hey, I'm Donnie Bovine, the CEO and founder of Success Champions Networking and author of Endless Stream of Referrals. This is Growth Mode, a sales and business development podcast where we talk about all things sales, business, growth, and the more. Hanging out with me as always is Kevin Snow, the sales and automation tactician and genius. And on this episode, we're going to talk about how you showing up in the world as a victim is kicking your ass from finding success. All right, Kevin, this is a freaking soapbox for either one of us. How do you want to tackle this one?
Oh, so many directions we can go at. I think we just need to dive in. So, my biggest pet peeve with when I was a sales manager were salespeople who had the "woe is me" mentality. Whenever something didn't go right, an account didn't close, another sales rep got into an account they thought they should have. It was never their fault. It was always someone else, and there was not, and it was pure victim mentality, and it
Yep.
annoys the living hell out of me.
Oh yeah, dude, and I think that that's a great way to start off with the definition of what I think a victim is. A victim is somebody who has excuses for everything. Nothing's good enough, and blames everybody else for their lack of actually getting shit done. Or they're just fucking Eeyore and miserable, grumpy, and nobody wants to be around them. I mean, here's the thing. When you think about selling your product and service, I think two things cause victimhood, especially when you're talking about sales, running a company, business development, those type of things. One, if you hate what you fucking sell, you're going to be a miserable cuss to be around, right? Because you're going to freaking just be mopey and blame the company for your inability to get out there and get after things. I think the second thing is if you worry too much about what other people think about you, or you worry so much about the outcome of every conversation, then you're going to find yourself in this victim mentality. And the third one is if you're just not putting in the work, the time, and doing the shit you need to get done, you're going to find yourself in this absolute horrid victim state of mind because, look, I don't give a shit where you are, whether you're in sales, building a business, working inside of a company, no matter what. Nobody wants to be around the mopey motherfucker. Nobody wants to be around the excuse motherfucker. And nobody wants to be around the jackass that's going to blame everyone for their inability to get shit done.
I think there's a fourth one as well. I
Ooh,
think the
sweet.
fourth one is inner voices.
Yeah, I agree.
In
Yeah.
this in the sales world, that we are it is always, it's 0 to 0, and you're always under pressure to perform. And if you are in a slump, you're in a slow patch, sometimes the inner voices are going to take over just to save your mental health and start telling you, and to keep your internal self-worth going. And they're going to tell you, well, you're doing everything you can. It's something else. And it's neat. You have to understand where those voices are coming from and what they're saying, so you can say, no, here's what I need to do. And there's a lot of salespeople, especially the ones that are consistently below quota, where those voices are ever prevalent, and they don't understand how to fix them.
Yeah, I'll even throw out there when I started my company, I think I fully finally wrapped my head around what the victim mindset really is because when you're running your own business, you realize really, really quickly that there's no one left to blame but your damn self. So if your business isn't clicking and if things aren't, money's not coming in, you're not bringing in new clients, you can't blame bad marketing, right? You can't blame lousy leads. You can't blame the company not teaching you well enough or whatever else, you're it. So I think for a lot of people, if they haven't read Jocko's book, Extreme Ownership, love or hate Jocko, that's a fucking amazing read. But if you haven't read Jocko's book, Extreme Ownership, I highly recommend everybody go get that book and listen to the audio version because him and Leif Babbitt, freaking, it's really, really cool. But, the bottom line of it, Cliff Notes version is everything's your fucking fault. And we're not saying you're at fault. We're saying take complete ownership. And I've taken this a little bit to the extreme, and I sometimes annoy the fuck out of Kevin because no matter what breaks in the company, whatever goes south, my move is always, well, shit, I fucked that up. And Kevin's like, no, not always, But for me, in learning to take ownership of things and learning to understand that everything is on me and looking at the life that way, then I get the opportunity to go, okay, how do I unfuck this? How do I fix this? How do I make this right? How do I actively, make this better and work? And it keeps me out of going, well, fuck, here we go again. God damn it, I fucked that up again. And it allows me to look at it from a better perspective. And, I would also throw in there, you got to be one, take ownership. Two, quit looking at somebody else to do the work for you. This shit's on you.
You can tell when you're talking to someone who has moved their mental state into that point of ownership and out of victimhood, because there's a phrase that they always use when things go wrong. It is what it is, not in
Yep.
my control. And the next question is like, now what do we do?
Yep.
And I think that is a really powerful state of mind, because that now moves you out of the place where you can be manipulated, and you now have control over your destiny. And it's kind of the same thing as Donnie's. I fucked that up. It's that whole idea. It's like, not, I don't have control over this. There's nothing I can do to change this. A key example of that is when the company changes territories. You can't control that. There is no reason to waste mental aptitude on bitching and moaning about a company changing your territory. They're going to do it whether you like it or not. Your job as a salesperson now to figure out, hey, now what do I do? How do I now have this area instead of this area? How do I get my book of business going again? It's that is what you need to be able to do if you're going to be successful in sales, is look at what happens, be objective to it, and say, all right, now what? How do we move forward? What do we do? And come up with a plan.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I don't know if anybody ever completely moves 100% away from having some sort of victim mentality. I mean, even look at me. I mean, I had to stop looking at ticket sales for the Badass Business Summit. I had to stop looking at member counts, for our Success Champions networking groups. I had to quit looking at all that stuff because every time I looked and I saw lack of performance. I saw lack of me going bigger and was like, fuck, why are we only here yet? And that fuck, why are we only here yet is a great example of a victim mindset. But let me tell you the power in me not looking at those numbers and being so focused on where we're not at. It's allowed me to stay fucking focused on where the fuck we're going and what we're creating and what we're bringing to the table. And that's been a lot of damn fun to change and flip that mindset, because Kevin's dealt with me on the days where I'm fucking turned into Eeyore myself. And I'm like, you know what? Why don't you go your way? I'm going my way because I'm in fucking misery loves company mode and I need to fucking go for a walk or something.
Well, and I think for you, part of that, why aren't we here thing isn't necessarily victimhood. It is your competitive nature. And you are really good at being able to be competitive with yourself. And you
This
don't
is
like
true.
losing.
This is true.
And so because and you train this, and we'll have to talk about it sometime. The setting the traps thing, but that is when you're looking at the numbers. Like, why aren't we here? And it's like, damn it, you're basically looking at yourself and saying you're losing to yourself because you're that competitive and you want to be, and he's fucking impatient as hell and wants everything today.
I'd also throw in there, dude, I really want to impact a lot of fucking lives.
Yeah,
and
this is true.
I think that
why am I not impacting them all today?
Right. Why am I not changing the world right fucking now? And I think that's a lot of what pushes and drives me is that, that thought process of if I'm not at a certain level, I'm not doing enough. Yep. So I think it's a driver, but can also mentally beat the shit out of me.
It's also a little bit of that imposter syndrome will sneak in, and that can feed that whole victim thing as well. If you are expecting, you're moving outside your comfort zone, and now you aren't sure of yourself, those voices are going to start popping into your head and Absolutely. Giving you reasons why you're not performing to the level and you're not succeeding at this new thing. So it's really keeping, it requires some self-awareness and to be able to understand what you're thinking and why you're thinking and be able to look objectively at yourself. And that's hard for people.
Absolutely agree with that. Absolutely. And I think, for me, one of the biggest hacks or tricks to get out of victim mindset is to keep getting punched in the face over and over and over again, and continue to put yourself out there because it's an evolutionary thing. You have to evolve to a different level of yourself because society wants everybody to be victims. Society wants everybody to be coddled candy asses, and society wants people to, not go for it and go big because if you get after life, they no longer control you. And so I think, for a lot of us, this is fuck what they think. I'm just going to get it done and go big, and I'm going to build my own life on my own terms and do this shit the right way. I think, guys, for this one, man, is anytime you look outside of yourself to put your lack or what you're not doing on somebody else, you instantly put yourself in a victim state of mind. Don't expect anybody to do shit for you because nobody's going to. You got to build this shit on your own. And anytime you say or think or feel somebody needs to do X so you can do X, you're an asshole. Change that up and flip the damn script and go, all right, how the fuck do I do this? How do I create this? How do I make this work? What am I not doing? And change the damn questions you're asking yourself and watch how big you could actually go. So, as always, guys, if you got any tips, tricks of value, anything out of this that would help you on your journey, do us a favor. Make sure you're subscribed and like and follow the show. If you're on YouTube, ring the bell. Leave us a comment in the comments of your thoughts, your takeaways. On YouTube, if you're listening out there in podcast land, make sure you subscribe or follow the show. And as always, if you know one person, if you can think of one person that needs to hear our message and needs to learn how to up their game in sales, business development, and scaling their company, share this with them. Share it with one person, man. It means a lot to us. Love you, mean it. See you, bye.